Hello everyone, Joe Thatcher here with Midwest Military Equipment out of Washington, Missouri. What we're in today is actually a 2002 M1078a1. We've had a lot of requests on just overall demonstrating how things operate, what everything shows in the cab. We're going to go from the basics to the kind of the complex. We're going to show you how to raise and lower the spare tire carrier, just all over the this A1 platform, which there's a lot of things that are similar with the A0. The A1 has a few more bells and whistles, and that's all. So if you got an A0 truck, just disregard the couple things that we're going to touch on here today. So first of all, starting off, we'll start over here on this side. That is your fuse panel there. It is located underneath that cover. If you pull those two clamps loose, that panel will come off. There's a number of fuses and relays underneath there that control all your lights, your blower motor, your CTIS module, your turn signals, your brake lights, everything from that, your blower motor, all the fuses and relays for the vehicle are located underneath that panel. Starting here on the side of the dash, obviously you have your defrost, simple manual pull, push-pull, and then your vent here, which is also a manual push-pull, and then your heat, which is a manual push-pull as well. This heat valve here actually, what it does is it opens a valve on the bottom side to allow coolant into the heater core. So in the summertime, definitely keep it pushed in. Otherwise, you're going to have coolant radiating through there in general. Blower switch is here to turn the fan. You've got 3 speeds on it. Pretty simple overall. This red knob here, you can see we've got air in the truck. The red knob here is for your trailer brakes. So if you were pulling an air brake trailer with one of these vehicles do have full air brakes. If you were pulling an air brake trailer, this is how you would engage and disengage the air brakes when the glide hands are hooked up. This is your parking brake. Push in to release it. You can see we roll, pull out to set it. Going over here to the 3-lever light switch, this is one of the most important things. Get a lot of questions about how to operate the lights. Mainly 90% of LMTV, MTV, and M-Series vehicle in general owners, this military 3-lever light switch is used in a number of different vehicles. Too many to count. I could bore you with model numbers. You're going to hold up on the unlock switch here, which I normally do it with my pointer finger, and then I take my thumb. I'm going to go all the way over to the service drive position. The service drive position is going to give you headlights, turn signal lights, brake lights, and then have all your accessories work, like the horn and the LMTV. It'll also allow the horn to work if we were in a Humvee vehicle. Gauge panel light is here, so gauge panel's bright, gauge panel's dim. The off position is no gauge lights at all. You still have headlights, running lights, tail lights, turn signal lights. Very important thing to remember about any military vehicle with a 3-lever light switch is you always have to turn it off. They're live power all the time. No way around that currently. We are working on some options, but you know, that'll be released at a later date. Going back to the lower left hand, you have parking lights. So what that does is that allows you to have turn signals, running lights, brake lights, all your normal driving lights except for your headlights. So once again, just to recap, the unlock here, you do not have to hold the unlock to move it in any of these positions on the lower left hand switch, but you do have to hold up on the unlock to go ahead and back over to the service drive position. Once again, just make sure that your switch is in the upright position on off. Over here, this is actually a gauge panel dimmer. Some of the LMTVs have them, some do not. Right here is your exhaust brake. You have a warm-up mode and a retard mode, which the retard mode just engages the exhaust brake. You've got a low idle and a high idle switch. You can kick this switch. This is only on the A1 trucks you have these 2 switches. This will go ahead and bring the idle up to about 1500 RPM, 12 to 1500 RPM. This is your hazard light switch here, obviously. This is a provisional switch for a remote mount beacon. All the vehicles have this switch. However, a majority of them do not have beacons. This gives you, if you want to wire in any accessory lighting or strobes or anything, you can do so to that switch. Over here to the left, probably one of the most important switches, this is your ignition switch. You're going to flick this in the down position to turn the ignition on. The red start button to start the vehicle. As you can hear, the engine is started. To shut the vehicle off, it is easy, just as we started it, we're just going to turn that switch off and that's it. We do offer a keyed ignition option for these, so that way you're able to lock up the vehicle. Over here you have a fuel element heater and an ether injection system. You can inject ether into it for cold starting. This is just a lamp test, so if we have the ignition on, you can see buzzer, everything it tests, make sure that all of your warning and indication lights are functioning correctly. All LMTVs are going to have that. The only difference is on an A0 truck, this dash panel here is slightly different. It's a little bit smaller overall. This is your fan cutout switch. Very important if you're going to be forwarding through water. The fan cutout switch, it's a plastic fan, so if you're driving through any deep water at all and the fan clutch happen to engage due to the heat of the temperature on the motor from the thermostatic switch, it will destroy the fan blades. So you want to make sure to hit that if you're going to drive through any water. That will manually disconnect the fan clutch and not allow the fan clutch to engage. Normal driving, always keep it in the up position. Pretty much that's the case with any of these switches here, besides for you know, your exhaust brake switch. We normally leave it in the middle unless you're going up and down hills. As you can see over here, we've got the drive selector. This one actually has a WTEC 3. It's a little bit thinner module, newer on the A1 trucks. Some of the A0 trucks have them as well. You have reverse neutral drive. You do not have a park. Going back to the parking brake here is the only way you park the vehicle. So it's not like your normal car that you drive on the road every day. These numbers here are also for diagnostic. You can hold the two of them down at the same time. It'll read out codes. If you have an Allison cheat sheet, you can go through and see if you have any codes on your transmission. It also allows you, like the 900 series trucks, to manually shift through gears. So you can lock this in first gear, second gear, third gear, so on and so forth, upshifting and downshifting on that. The mode button is what engages four-wheel drive. When the red light is on here, you will see that it is in four-wheel drive. On the older model, WTEC 2 models, it will say mode on the digital readout itself. This will also demonstrate what gear you're in, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way up to seventh gear. But overall, that kind of covers the basics inside the cab. This is your warning buzzer on the A0 trucks that are located in the center of the dash. Recommend putting a piece of tape over one once you familiarize yourself with the vehicle, because they are obnoxiously loud. Oil pressure gauge, speedometer, voltmeter. The voltmeter being in the yellow right now, since the alternator is not charging, that's normal. Fuel gauge here, and both air gauges, and then this is your engine water temperature gauge. The steering wheel does slightly telescope. You have a nut here. Going over to the side here, this is our turn signal switch, horn switch, and also how you operate your wipers. It does not self-cancel, so you do have to take it to the off position. Pull back on the switch is to engage high beams. Pull back on the switch again is to go back to low beams. You do have an indicator here whenever the lights are on that says high beam, low beam, as you can see there. Gas pedal, brake pedal, that's pretty basic. If you're driving one of these, I hope you know what those are. Overall, that's we just wanted to do this to kind of address. Oh, one last thing here. This is an air filter restriction gauge. You can reset it there. It shows restriction on the air filter. 9 out of 10 people, probably not something that you need to be looking at every single day while you're driving the vehicle. This particular truck has a CTIS module in it. You've got highway, sand, emergency, and run flat. That's a whole nother video we could go over on the CTIS. But for today, we just wanted to talk about basic cab operations on the vehicle itself and kind of go over some of the features and how to operate it. So if you want to check out more awesome videos or products for your LMTV, or you're looking to purchase an LMTV, we keep normally about 100 LMTVs in stock. You can check us out online at midwestmilitaryequipment.com. Please sure to subscribe to our channel. We're going to have more content coming up soon. Thanks for watching.